Euroformula Open. We are live here from Monza. My name's Chris McCarthy. As ever, joining me in the commentary box will be Elliot Wood. A pleasant morning here, definitely better conditions to what we had yesterday, but just in time for qualifying, things starting to look a little bit better. Great to be here at the Monza circuit, always a driver's favourite and always one that provides fantastic racing. Very fast circuit, of course, long straights as well, helps the cars stay very close together. And that could come into play in qualifying as well. You will want a tow to help you out, get a good lap. And there we can see Manuel Maldonado getting himself ready to go. And he's going to be one of the talking points coming into this round. Why? Well, he had an absolutely fantastic run out at Red Bull Ring. That is where we were last time. This round will bring us up to the halfway stage. 8 rounds this season. This round number 4. At the end of this, we will officially be at half-time, if you like. And this is one of the rounds where we're going to extend our calendar. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to have 3 races this weekend rather than 2, and this is going to be one of 3 qualifying sessions as well. Cars just getting themselves up to speed, getting the tyres up to temperature. What happened last time if you weren't with us? Well, things kind of resumed to normal. Yiffy got himself 2 more race wins, and he now leads the championship by double the points of anyone else, over double. In fact, he's on 153 points, Yiffy, and Andreas Essner is on 75 points. So Yiffy doing an absolutely fantastic job out there so far, and he took both wins. However, he was joined on the podium by some new faces, Manuel Maldonado being one of those. Manuel hadn't got himself a podium going into that round, but left it with 2 second places, and he's going to be absolutely flying with confidence coming into this round. Also getting his first podium was Nicholas Cruton, got a 3rd place in the 2nd race, and returning to the podium for the first time since the very first race of the season was the man at the top of the times currently to the left-hand side of your screen, Sebastian Essner. He took a 3rd in the very first race of the season, and he repeated that result at Red Bull Ring. Well, with new faces on the podium meant some drivers out there had a little bit of bad luck as well. Andreas Essner being one of those. One driver who had torrid luck was Zane Maloney. He scored absolutely 0 points, and as a result, he's dropped down to 6th in the standings. So Zane Maloney is going to be looking to make up for that ground this weekend. Also returning to the track this weekend is Lucas Dunner. Great to have him back. Now, he and his Crypto Racing Tower teammate, Yiffy, locked horns with each other at Paul Ricard. And I don't mean that physically, but I mean in terms of results. It was 1 apiece in terms of race wins between he and Lucas Dunner. Dunner, that is 1 and only round that he's done with us so far this season due to FIA F3 commitments, but now that season is finished, he's come back along. It's going to be great to see who takes the upper hand in the battle between himself and Yiffy. But let's not count out any of the others, because drivers out there are getting quicker and quicker. Ido Cohen, one of those as well. He is surely due a podium anytime soon. We've got the likes of Andreas Essner, who will want to get back on the podium. It was the first time last time out that he didn't get a podium this season, so he's going to be desperate to get back. So the championship is as so. It's Yiffy who leads. Andreas Essner is 2nd now, with no podium finishes for Andreas Essner, and he didn't classify in the 2nd race. He's been caught in points, so he's on 75. Manuel Maldonado has jumped up to 3rd with 60 points, so only a 15-point gap there. Ido Cohen tied on points with Manuel Maldonado. Then we have Sebastian Essner on 52, 45 for Zane Maloney. Nicholas Cruton with that podium jumps up to 42 points, and then it's Lucas Dunner on 42 despite only doing 1 round. Ayrton Simmons, well, he's either finished 7th or 6th in every race so far this season. He's going to want to break that toe. He's the car you're currently looking at on screen as well. And then rounding out your top 10 is Glenn Van Berlo. We look at Alexandre Bardignon. He locked horns with Rui Andrade on a couple of occasions at Red Bull Ring. A bit of a round to forget for him. but he did get his second points finish of the season, did Alexandre Bardignon, despite all that bad luck. Well, it's Sebastian Esner who currently leads in the time, Bardignon second, but we won't pay too much attention to those at the moment. There you can see Ayrton Simmons. He's just gone purple through the first and second sector as he now comes out the Ascari chicane, makes his way down towards the Parabolica. Getting in the toe, you can see the car ahead trying to break the toe for Ayrton Simmons, but Ayrton Simmons has done exactly what you need to do around here. Get a good toe coming out of Ascari so you're not delayed too much around the lap. And Ayrton Simmons, this could be a very good lap for him. Qualifying around Monza, as much as it's tactical, it's also about a bit of luck sometimes as well. You've got to get the right toe at the right time, and that'll do exactly what you've done to Ayrton Simmons, and he's gone to the top of the pile. Ayrton Simmons now leading the way. 1:46.347 is the time to beat, as he will now back off going into the first chicane. Cameron Daz, well, he needs a good result as well, does Cameron Daz. His appearances in the championship this season have not been ones to write home about. He was with us at Paul Ricard, didn't get a very good results there. 8th place was his best results. Cameron Daz really could do with some good finishes here as they now come down through the second chicane. Ayrton Simmons, we can see on screen. Brilliant lap for him so far, but it's beaten. Lucas Dunner now goes to the top of the screen. Great time that from Lucas Dunner on 1:45.607. So he has gone to the top. Ayrton Simmons sits in second. Cameron Daz, who did well in the private test, is third. Zay Maloney, your top rookie, in fourth. Then it's Bardignon, Cohen, Andrade. And then behind that, we have Sebastian Esner. Yiffy yet to show his hand. He's sitting down in 9th place so far, and Glenn Van Barlo is 10th. To remind you, this is going to be one of 3 qualifying sessions we have this weekend. We're going to have 3 races this weekend. Going to be a great weekend of racing for sure. And to talk us through a little preview of that, we'll get on my co-commentator now, Elliot Wood. So, Elliot, an extended timetable for us this weekend. It's going to be great to have 3 races, but you were here last year. What a track this is to go racing around.
Yeah, this was a track that signed off the Dallara F312/F317, so the final ever time we got to race the predecessor to this car. And as we can see, drivers already overtaking each other, looking for a slipstream. We have actually had a few lap times already deleted for track limits. It was a topic that was very prevalent at the Red Bull Ring, and it is again here. Turn 4 seems to be the place where people are getting scuppered here. So yeah, there's a lot to look out for. And you can see one of the motorpark cars and Ido Cohen are properly going side by side down the pit straight. This is the first time we've seen the 320 at this track. It's usually the track that produces the best racing for this kind of car. So I am expecting a lot of action, but I wasn't expecting this much in qualifying.
Yeah, brilliant so far, isn't it? As Ido Cohen, he's been one of the most impressive drivers and one of the most consistent drivers. Just needs the podium to see Israeli driver is up to the line. We can now see Yiffy on your screen. Let's see if he can go to the top, and he does. 1:45.086. Wow, what a time that is for Yiffy. Nicholas Cruton is now in 2nd place. Ido Cohen in 3rd. Lucas Dunner is in 4th place. Then it's Maloney, Andrade, Simmons, Daz, Bardignon, Van Berlo. In the pits currently is Sebastian Andreas Esner and Manuel Maldonado. I don't even think he's come out for a play yet, so we did see him getting his crash helmet on at the start of the session. Manuel Maldonado yet to come out, but I'm sure we'll be seeing him very soon. Here's a bit of a replay. So this is through first chicane, and this is the number 20, your championship leader, who's only been beaten once this season, Yiffy Yi. Got to take a little bit of curb through the right-hander, not too much though. Now through the Lesmos, we continue to watch the number 20, the championship leader, Yiffy Yi. You'd have to say, Elliot, you know, he didn't have the best of runs when he did do FIA F3, but to have only been beaten once, he's surely proving as their season comes to an end that he could be in line for a seat, for a jump back into a seat in that championship next season.
Yeah, or potentially Formula 2. He has shown interest in going up the categories. Obviously, there's 2 very different demands for essentially fairly similar cars at the same circuit. In free practice and qualifying in the FIA series, you have to use different tyre compounds, whereas here, you know, you get to bed in the brakes, you get to use the same tyres using. You basically have all this practice and qualifying time to prepare for those races. So very different demands, but obviously with 13 cars, traffic shouldn't be too much of an issue here, but it does mean drivers will want to be close to get that slipstream, because it was worth north of a second with the old car, so it might be worth even more than that with this one.
Yeah, and Lucas Dunner, well, he was just working together with Yiffy there. Yiffy letting him go through, and Lucas Dunner with that tow has gone to the top. He's 3 thousandths ahead of Rui Andrade. Wow, what a time that is from Rui Andrade. Brilliant time. The 3 Crypto Tower cars now 1, 2 and 3, and only split by 73 thousandths of a second. We've only seen Rui Andrade score points on a few occasions, so really great to see him up there in second. However, let's not get too excited just yet, because there is still over half of this session remaining. 14 minutes still to go. Now, some drivers are into the pits, and this is usually the time that we see them do that. They'll dive in about halfway through for a bit of a breather, and then they come straight back out again to set more times.
Yeah, and this is going to be a different circuit where if others go into the pit, you may as well follow, because the slipstream is so crucial. There's no point in lapping on your own.
Now these two are working together again, aren't they? Lucas Dunner, it's his turn to lend the tow back to Yiffy as they come down to Ascari, and there you go. Almost an exact repeat of what they did on the last lap. The pair swapping places, and Yiffy purple. So now Lucas Dunner has said to him, well, there's your tow, mate. Now let's see if you can go beat it. And so far, Yiffy is on to beat that time, as Nicholas Cruton has gone to the top. Brilliant time from him. So the German who got on the podium for the first time last time out now leads the way. But it's Yiffy at the head of your screen. That's Lucas Dunner, who appears to be slowing up slightly. But ahead of him, Yiffy on your screen now, going up to the line, is surely on to take yet another pole position. Provisionally, at least, as he goes across the line. Let's see what he can do. And there you go, 144.374, over half a second quicker than anyone else.
And this is exactly what they did in Paul Ricard when we had Lucas and Yiffy together as well. They pretty much just gave each other a slipstream, and they were doing it in one session, and then they swapped positions for the other session. So because we've got 3 this weekend, I wonder how that's going to play out and who decides who's going to help who.
It's going to be fantastic racing. It's going to be so hard to get away round here. You were here last year. What kind of racing based off last year are we expecting this year?
For want of a better phrase, absolutely mental. It was the greatest send-off for a long-lived and much-loved car. I think Yuki Tsunoda won that race. He came from 5th on the grid.
I have the results for you, actually.
Some of the overtakes were, the pretty amazing stuff. I was just seeing the DriveX car come out of the pits in one of the motor parks. So we've now only got, we should only have 1 car in the pits now. Unfortunately, I think that might be Zane Maloney. It is Zane Maloney. He's still got the team working on the car in the pit lane. Now, I hope there isn't a repeat of the worries he had at the Red Bull Ring, because when I spoke to the team yesterday, they said that was all fixed, and any other problems he was having this weekend were totally unrelated. So it'd be a great shame if he can't get back out on track.
Now this is a track we've come to every year essentially, and a running theme that we've had at this track is that champions win round here. So Sandy Stuvik won here. He won both races here in 2014 before going on to become champion. Vitor Baptista won one of the races here before going on to become champion. Paul Cheney, Harrison Scott, Felipe Drugovich all won both races here, all became champions. And last year, Marino Sato and Liam Lawson were your winners here. And we know that Sato, of course, became champion. So there you go.
And if anyone who was watching Euroformula back in 2016 can remember that win by Leonardo Polcini against Ferdinand Habsburg, possibly the greatest Formula 3 race of all time. It was incredible stuff. Last lap move around the outside of Parabolica, I believe it was. It's the kind of race where some of these drivers in this paddock and their driver coaches actually kind of re-watch it for fun. Because it is such a kind of memorable thing, and obviously you can learn a lot when you can make overtakes like that.
Well, basically go back and watch it. That's what we're saying, isn't it? As cars now making their way into pit lane. Here we can see Cameron Daz, number 28. Now the number 4 on screen for you, which is Nicholas Cruton. Brilliant result for him, wasn't it, last time out, to get himself onto the podium, Elliot. It was a podium, I think, that had been I wouldn't say a long time coming, but the result of a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and I think he was one of those drivers who avoided the endless track limits penalties that were handed out over the weekend. So he got quite high up in the order in qualifying and then made the most of it in the races. We're seeing the Van Amersfoort racing car, well, actually we're seeing one of the most parked cars in front as well. They were very quick in qualifying, but it was the start of races where they kind of lost positions. Obviously, it's going to be easier to regain positions at a track like this, and that is the two Essner brothers,
yes.
I do believe. So they should be working together.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? They've got Maldonado ahead of them.
Now behind.
And now dropping him behind. Now he's yet to set a time, but he doesn't really appear to be too worried about it. They're basically just going to do one run, isn't it? This is the plan for these three. Just go out, do one run, hopefully get to the very top, and then come back in, easy as you like.
Yeah, and because you reuse these tyres, well, we've got 3 races this weekend, so they definitely will be reusing these tyres at this event rather than saving them for other events. So this is a canny strategy by Maldonado. If he knows he has the pace, he knows he can get a slipstream at the very end of the session, he doesn't need to put too much life on his tyres.
They're heading down to Ascari now, so the Essner brothers, I think, may have probably practiced what they're going to do around here on the sim. Maldonado behind will be looking to maybe follow them as well. Great performance last time out, wasn't it, from Manuel Maldonado? It was he had a bit of bad luck, but it was a real breakthrough drive from him.
Yeah, definitely a breakthrough weekend, and he was very convinced that he could bring that form into this weekend because he didn't believe that Red Bull Ring performance was a one-off. And obviously Motor Park did win both races here last year, so they know that there's a circuit. One of the DriveX cars, I believe, was holding up Ayrton Simmons behind there. We'll try and see as they come into frame. And obviously there's only one DriveX car this weekend, there's only one Double R car, so they've got no one to help them tow. So it'd be interesting if they work together.
Yeah, you would have thought maybe they were going down the pit lane, so why don't we just work together a little bit?
Good news, Zane Maloney's just come out the pits. In fact, you can see him just at the front of picture. So he might have to have blue flags waved to let the others through.
Yeah, I think he will have to get out of the way. There's the number 16 you can see, which is Andreas Essner. He's looking to hit the ground running here because his last result was a DNF, essentially. It was a real... It wasn't the best of weekends by his very high standards this year. The 4th in the first race. Just over 7.5 minutes remaining now. Down to the second chicane we go. Blue flags are being waved. It's starting to look a little bit chaotic out there, isn't it? There's, as you said, there's 13 cars, but about 10 of them have all found themselves at the first or second chicane, and it's getting a little bit congested. But Andreas Essner seems to have escaped that all. He's set a personal best first sector. Let's see what he does through the second, because that second sector ends very shortly. His brother tucked in behind as they now go downhill. It's their first flying lap, so we're going to get to see what they can do now.
Everyone in the bottom half of the order isn't on improvement, but everyone in the top half isn't at the moment.
There we go, and that's, you know, they're all over a second back, aren't they? So you'd hope that they were as they come out of Ascari now down to Parabolica. Both of them doing personal bests, but I think this would be good enough to maybe challenge for the top 6 the way that they're going at the moment. Let's have a look as they make their way down to the final corner here. Andreas leading Sebastian. Sebastian, the one who had the better performance last time. Out of the final corner now and down to the start-finish straight. What is their first real flyers going to give us? Let's have a look as they come across the line. And they go second and fourth. Well, they had brilliant last sectors. Sebastian Essner particularly, he's gone to the front row provisionally, just under a 10th back from Yiffy. And Andreas Essner sits in 4th place. Now they're going to swap places, though. You've got to remember, Sebastian is the one behind. So now it's Andreas' turn to get the tow, and maybe that just shows us how much the tow is worth.
Yeah, and
6/10.
Potentially, yeah. The final sector was the fastest anyone's set so far. And given we've seen other teams doing the same tactic and they're not going as fast in that sector, would suggest that probably is the margin of the tow at the moment.
Now, Yiffy and Lucas Dunner, teammates as well, are in the pit. Is that going to be the last we see of them? Or are they going to come back out, do we think? If they do, they're not going to have they're not going to have particularly a huge amount of time, are they? I don't see them coming down the pit lane, but they might sneak out for one more.
Well, Lucas Dunner, I believe, has just exited.
There we go.
Pits. Yeah. And obviously they would want to start from the front because Yiffy hasn't done much racing this year because, you know, he's been winning from the front. So if he qualifies further down the order, he might not know what to do. That
is very true. We haven't really seen him having to fight through. He's basically been staring at an empty track.
Yeah, and this was a circuit last year where every year, every race, Marino Sato was like, I'm taking no risks, and he won from the front. And he got to Monza and he said, I've won the title, maybe I can take risks.
Now they're swapping places. Here comes Sebastian to the right of your picture, goes past Andreas. And this is going to be an even better lap. It's going to be Andreas' turn. I think what they're doing is you get 2 laps behind. I think that's the plan here. Up to the line they go. Let's see if there is an improvement from Sebastian Essner. He comes up to the line. Yes! Well, it's worked. 1:44.272. And Andreas Essner slowing down to give Sebastian Essner the toe has worked, and he's gone to the top of the pile. You've got to remember, Yiffy Yi and Lucas Dunner have just come back out on track. And Sebastian Essner going so fast in turn one that he's actually run wide, but he's now going to sacrifice this lap to help out Andreas. But provisional pole for Sebastian Essner. Now it's his turn, I think, to hand that toe back to Andreas.
Yeah, and for the second time in a row, it's that final sector where they set a faster time than anyone else. It's still the Crypto Tower cars with the top times in the first 2 sectors, getting very close into the second chicane. So potentially they're going to swap positions before Ascari this time.
Already, look.
Yeah, that'd be a personal best. Actually, we've got Bardignon's just set the fastest first sector of anyone. That was a bit costly. He saved it, though.
Yeah, well, Sebastian just about. I mean, he doesn't really need to be pushing so hard, but here comes Andreas now getting closer and closer. Is this going to be the time that they swap places, or are they going to wait till after the Ascari chicane? Or they're not really working it out as good as they were last time.
No.
Through chicane we come, and
it wasn't as quick as last time either.
No, it doesn't look it either, does it? This would be a great qualifying result from Sebastian, by the way.
I think Bardignon's about to take pole. He's currently in last place. I can't see who he's got toe from, but fastest in the first sector and personal best in the second sector as his 2 teammates swap positions going to Parabolica
there we
again.
Can see it. Well, he's behind these guys. He was at the top of our picture when we were looking down towards the Sky chicane. So let's see what Andreas Essner does. Can he take pole position? It's not been the cleanest of laps in terms of following Sebastian, and unsurprisingly, he goes third. What about Bardignon? He did a purple first sector, and he goes third. Wow, brilliant performance from Alexandre Bardignon, all the way up to third place. And I don't mean that as an insult, that reaction, but I'm just saying we have not seen Alexandre Bardignon qualify higher than 8th place this season.
But you know what's particularly interesting about that is he made most of the time there in the first sector, which is pretty much the slowest sector of the lap.
Yes.
So very quick.
So it weren't a fluke, that's what we're saying.
Although car 20, potentially for track limits. Car 20, 99 and 69 under investigation. We're not being told for what.
Well, that's all the Crypto Tower cars. That's the 3 teammates. Now, what have they been up to? This is Zane Maloney. He desperately needs a good round here, doesn't he, Zane?
Yeah, he's had a lot of bad luck over the last 2 rounds, even though he's clearly had the pace go quicker. Bardignon,
again,
quicker than anyone in the first sector. He's 10th faster than last time, so no one's got within 2/10 of that time.
Simmons just goes out of our shot. There's Maloney to the left. That's Nicholas Cruton. Zane Maloney's at the very top of your picture. There's Ido Cohen in the blue, and we had someone fly past as well. Didn't quite catch who that was, but Bardignon is on to potentially better his time. So's Manuel Maldonado, though, and he's making his way up to the start-finish line. That's Zane Maloney going to start another lap. What about Maldonado? He's behind Bardignon. They're working together by the looks of it. Maldonado and Bardignon, they're making their way up to around the final corner now. They'll be coming up to the start-finish line, and we pick them up just in time. There is Alexandre Bardignon. Up to the line we go. Maldonado ahead of him. Are they going to be able to challenge Sebastian Essner out front? Let's have a look. Yes, Manuel Maldonado takes pole position. So provisionally, Maldonado has gone to the top, 1:44.269. And it didn't even look like he had anyone round him at the end there. So brilliant time that from Maldonado.
Yeah, and we got a few more drivers in trouble because drivers are letting others pass around the final corner. They're breaking track limits, which not only deletes that lap, but deletes the next lap. Glenn Van Berlo's just been put down to the bottom. I think we're going to have one of the Crypto Towers potentially as well. Right. Lucas Dunner had just gone up to third, but that then became fourth once Maldonado crossed the line.
Well, they're going on to their final laps, by the way. So this now a very crucial part of the session. This is where it counts, their final chance to improve, and this is the lap where you do not want to be lending someone else a tow. But after taking 2 second places last time out, he qualified 4th on both of those occasions, did Manuel Maldonado. Can he now go on to improve on that second place and take pole position?
It's Cruton near the back of this picture who is behind Zane Maloney and Cameron Dass. He's just at the fastest middle sector of anyone now. Yiffy Ye's beaten that. We're currently looking at Cameron Dass's splits. He's sure to improve.
Yeah, let's come around the final corner then. So he's behind Zane Maloney. Let's see who can improve. Yiffy Ye is improving though, and improving dramatically. Flag is now flying. Who are we going to see improve? Ayrton Simmons won't. Cameron Dass goes up to pole, immediately beaten by Nicholas Cruton. Cohen has gone to 7th place, but it's Yiffy Ye who we wait. He now comes out of the final corner. We see him coming towards picture. Can he go and spoil the party? Yes, he can. He goes to the top. 143.534, and as usual, Yiffy Ye is at the head of the field. But we still have a couple of people to cross the line. Andreas Essner goes up to 6th. Maldonado stays 4th. Van Berlo up to 9th, but immediately drops to 10th place. So, well, we had a few different people, to say the least, at the top there, Elliot, but in the end, Yiffy Ye pole position. Yeah,
and every single driver improved on their final lap there. That was their fastest, so you know, no one can complain about not having a tow there.
No, it was great laps from everyone. Everyone did everything they could. But Yiffy Ye takes pole position once again here in the Euroformula Open. All but one race, Yiffy Ye has taken pole position. Nicholas Cruton in 2nd place, and we've got to give a huge shout out to Nicholas Cruton. His best qualifying performance was 3rd before this, but he takes 2nd. And immediately off the back of his first ever podium in the championship last time out, he goes 2nd. Cameron Dass, what a result for him. He finishes in 3rd place. Brilliant performance from him considering his Paul Ricard entry did not go to plan at all, but he is up to 3rd. Maldonado continues and goes up to 4th place there. Then we have Sebastian Essner in 5th. Andreas Essner 6th, so the two brothers together. Lucas Dunn is 7th. Alexandre Bardignon is 8th. Ido Cohen in 9th. Glenn Van Berlo in 10th place. And then behind that, Ayrton Simmons 11th. Rui Andrade is 12th. Zane Maloney is 13th. Well, Yiffy Ye at the top of the pile, but good performances there from Nicholas Cruton coming off the back of his first podium, and a good return for Cameron Dass to finish in 3rd place there, Elliot.
Yep, and he has taken a podium at this circuit 2 years ago, I believe, so he'll know exactly what he needs to do to get to the front here.
Brilliant stuff. Well, it's a surprise, I have to say. As much as I wouldn't say there's huge surprises at the front, particularly at the very top of the pile. I don't say that. Nicholas Cruton, he's been improving all the time. We know Cameron Dass can be quick, but on the complete flip side of that, I've got to say Lucas Dunner down in 7th. A little bit surprising to see him down there. Andreas Essner in 6th place. Once again, needs to try and get that form back that he had at the first couple of rounds. Ido Cohen, he's been so consistent. He's down in 9th, I think. Ayrton Simmons will be pretty disappointed considering he's finished 7th or 6th every race so far this season to be down in 11th. And Maloney all the way down at the back of the field.
Yeah, Maldonado's strategy worked perfectly because he only set 8 laps, which is 5 less laps pretty much than everyone else. He's saved so much life on his tyres, but he's 4th on the grid.
Great stuff. Well, there's your pole sitter, Yiffy Ye. Once again, all but one race so far this season. That's his 6th pole in 7 races. It's been absolutely fantastic stuff by Yiffy Ye. He'll be joined on the front row by Nicholas Cruton. There is Cameron Dass as well, just congratulating Yiffy Ye. And Cameron Dass, well, after his Paul Ricard entry did not go to plan, he'll be hoping that this one is going to go a bit better, and he's got off to a good start. And I'd say that'll be a bit of a relief for the American, because he may have left Paul Ricard thinking, could have done a lot better than that, and he's now showing what he can do. But let's remind you of our top 3 then. There is Yiffy Ye. He's going to start on pole position for this one, in a brilliant performance from him, and let's hear from him now.
Yiffy Ye, it has become usual to talk to you after a session. We are in Monza, one of the nicest tracks in the world. You must be happy about this pole position.
Yeah, but the problem is I'm obviously happy for the pole position, but the problem is I was working with my teammate Lucas. We were trying to give each other a tow for every lap, but because of those drivers who were driving excessively slow on the track, which yeah, messed up our plan. So yeah, yeah, that was nothing we can do. But still, this afternoon, let's see what we can do. Slipstreaming is a big factor here at Monza, so will not be easy to keep the lead. But let's try to get a good start and see what we can do from there.
And of course, a special weekend with 3 races. You need to plan that, of course.
Yeah, it's a triple header. It's a race weekend with 3 races, so it's important to get it right. So let's hope best of luck for us.
Thank you. All the best.
Well, there you have it. Yi on pole position once again. Fantastic stuff. And Yi, going to be great to see him leading for the front. But he's going to have Nicholas Cruton behind him and Cameron Daz starting directly behind him as well. So that's the first Euroformula qualifying session complete. We'll be back for qualifying 2 at 11:40 local time here in Monza. So make sure you join us then for the second qualifying session of the weekend. And we go racing for the first time at 4:10 local time here in Monza. Well, thank you very much for joining us for this first qualifying session. It's been a very exciting one, it's fair to say. And now they've all learned what they can do in qualifying. No doubt tactics are going to be coming into play just as much in qualifying 2. So make sure you're back with us for that one just a little bit later on this morning. What is a very pleasant morning here in Monza. But thank you very much for joining us. I think we'll leave it there for now, and we'll be back just a couple of hours for qualifying 2.